tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, I'm teaching,
Okay.
Jacob, okay? You want to listen to the shear?
Here, Jacob. Here, call me on my phone if you need something, okay? I'm not. I think I'm staying home. Bye.
I'm full. We ate good. We're on Pei Zion, 87. Tomorrow, we will learn at, you want to make it 3:30? 3 o'clock? 3:30, I think is fine. V'chenai Rabbi Yehuda poitra mikol dinim shebetoira. Rabbi Yehuda had a shita that a blind person was potter of all dinim. Dinim means monetary cases that you bring somebody to Beis Din for. And we'll see like Malkos and Misa. My time in Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Kra, Vishavtu Ha'eda, the congregation will adjudicate Bein HaMakeh Uvein Goel Adam, between the one who had killed the person, and we're talking about when he killed him b'shogeg, and between the family member who wants to take revenge, Ala Mishpatim Ha'ela. And there's a drasha. If you're in the parsha of getting malchus or being a goel adam, then you have the din of dinim. Remember, we learned by killing somebody b'shogeg. If you went into a yard, there's a phrase liros. You have to be able to see. Since the summa can't see, he's not in the parsha of going to golus. If you injure a summa, a blind person, you don't have to pay him embarrassment fee. He's already on a low status. So he can't be embarrassed. Rabbi says something even more striking. You're not chayv in any mitzvahs. Like, now, Tosfos says midrabanan he would keep the mitzvahs. Because otherwise you'd be like a goy. According to Rashba, a summa would be potter even in rabbanot. So, on Rav Shesha, my time, we just learned that a summa is not in the parsha of mishpatim. So, kol sheyesh b'mishpatim yesh mitzvos v'chukim. You have mitzvos and chukim. Kol she'einu b'mishpatim einu mitzvos v'chukim. If you're out of the parsha of monetary damages cases, then you don't have to keep mitzvahs. Now, on Rav Yosef was a summa. Rav Yosef was blind. And therefore, when he heard this, Meresh Rav Amina, when I first heard of all of this, I said that whoever comes out and says the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda, that assumes poter b'nei mitzvahs, I'm going to make a big feast for that person. My time at lo mafkina v'kav dina mitzvahs, because I do mitzvahs, but even though I'm not mitzvah, so I must get a lot of credit. But now I've been made aware of the principle of Rav Chanina voice. A person who is commanded to do the mitzvahs and does them gets more schar than a person who's not commanded. Now, mandamarli ain't halacha Rabbi Yehuda. I don't want the halacha to be like Rabbi Yehuda now. So whoever tells me that halacha is not like him, Avdina Yuma Tuval Rabba, because it's better to be mitzvah. My time and to keep is liagrit's fate. By being commanded and me performing the mitzvahs, I get even more reward. George, we're on page Zion.
Thank you.
87 on the bottom.
Yep.
We're about
Thank
to
you.
start the new Mishnah. Zeh chomer ba'adam b'shor. When a human being damages somebody else, there's more stringencies for him than when an ox damages. Why? Nezek, when a human being damages, he has to pay the value of the damage. Tsar, pain. Ripui, medical payment. Shevet, which is if he's off of work for 2 weeks, he has to pay him a daily rate. Uboishas, embarrassment. Then, Mishalem, Dmei Vlados, a human being who causes a lady who's pregnant to have a miscarriage has to pay monetary damages. But shore, when a shore does damage, he doesn't have to pay tsar, ripui, sheves, uboishas. Einim shalom nezek. Upotamid mei vlados. If a shore gores a pregnant woman and she has a miscarriage, the owner of the shore doesn't have to pay. Only by human being. If you strike your parent and you cause bleeding, you're chayiv misa. If you strike your parent but there's no bleeding, if you injure somebody on Yom Kippur, there's no malchus, there's nothing on Yom Kippur like Misa, so Chayv B'Kulon. You have to pay all the 5 damages. And Achoyvel Eved Ivri Chayv B'Kulon, if you wound an Eved Ivri, you have to pay all 5. Chutz Min HaSheves B'Zman Shushalo. If you own the Eved, you don't have to pay him for time off, he works for you. Achoyvel Be'eved Knani Shel Acherim. You wounded an Eved, a Knani Eved that belongs to somebody else. Chai b'kulan. You have to pay all these payments. Rabbi Yehuda ein lavodim boishes. There's no boy, you can't embarrass an Eved Knani. An Eved Ivri you can. Cheres shoytin v'kodin pigiyos and ra. You should know you should not hang around with a deaf mute, a Michigan, or a minor. Because achoyvel bohen, if you wound them, you have to pay them. But if they wound you, pturim. So better not hang around with them. Similarly, ha'eved va'isha b'giyos and ra. They're when they taught what an Eved and Isha has the same day. If you wound them, you have to pay. But if they do damage, they're potter. A woman doesn't have her own money, so she has no responsibility to pay. In both cases, they might have to pay later on. For example, Nizgar Sha'isha. The woman is divorced, and now she has independent money, then she'd be chayv to pay. Nishtachra Eved chayv l'shalim. If the Eved was freed, he's a regular Jew now, he'd have to pay. If you struck your parent and you caused a wound, you're chayv misa. Or a chayvel b'chaver b'Shabbos, you wounded somebody on Shabbos, you're chayv misa for that. Skila, potter mikulam. There's something called kimlei midarabim. You pay, you have a physical damage like being put to death, and monetary damage. So you get the worst of the punishment. If you injure an Eved Knai belongs to you, he belongs to you. So you don't have to pay yourself. Boy Mene Rabbi Eliezer Meirav. Hachoyvel Vas Ktana Shel Acherim. You wounded a minor girl of your neighbor. Chabolami. Who is the payment to me? I mean, I'm Kevin Dakni Le Rachmana. Shvachnur La'av. If a father marries off his minor daughter, he gets the money of the kiddush. So maybe Chabadami Davuavi. So when you pay because you wounded the daughter, maybe you pay to the father. My time at the Afachse Mikaspo. She's now damaged goods. He's going to get less money for the shidduch. So it's owed to the father. Maybe the Torah only gave a father the benefit of kiddushin. Because he can get her married to anybody, even to somebody with boils. A father cannot wound his daughter. So maybe wounding is different. So the Torah did not say that the payment that is made by wounding a girl goes to the father. Rav answered, a father only gets kiddushin money payment, not this damage payment. Esfe, I'll ask you a kasha. You wounded an Eved Ivri. If the Eved Ivri still belongs to you, you don't have to pay for the 2 weeks that he has off. What are you going to pay? You're the employer. So a daughter, if she goes to work, he keeps that. So at least the Shevis payment should go to him. So Rabbi Shevis, Rav agreed for the disability pay that goes to the father. The what a minor girl earns belongs to the father until she's 12 and a half. You wounded an adult son. You have to pay him right away. Bivno cotton. Yaselo skula. The more later on will tell us what that means. If you wound your minor daughter, you don't have to pay anything. If other people wounded her, it says beferish, you have to pay to the father. Or it says that's only with the staying home, the disability, which is like Maisi Yadayim. Like if she goes out to work for 2 weeks, he gets it. Same thing, if there's a disability payment day by day, he would get it, the father. If you wounded your adult son, you have to pay him right away. If you wound sons and daughters of your neighbor, you pay the gadol right away. Tanim, yasalam skula. Bivana of Nosef Shalom Potter. But if it's his son or his daughter, Potter. So that's the answer to our shayla. Ami lo kasha. Conscious is smuchim al shulchana. When he's Potter, that's when his children are living on his table. He's providing their mizonos. But so then you're Potter. And kan kishein smuchim al shulchana. If he's independent, then the father would have to pay them. So b'mayu kim to l'kamaisa b'shein smuchim al shulchana. So you set up the Baraisa where he gets payment because he's not relying on the father for mizonos. Now, why would you be potter if she's independent? Why would the Acherim have to pay the father? Litin boy the mace of law. The boy, she has to live, she's independent, she doesn't get money from anybody. The payment should go to her. I say, a master can tell an Eved Knani, I'm not going to feed you, and you have to go beg at night. That's Hanim of Eved Knani. Ovid avidita kulu yom le'urta zil sachar v'echol. You can work all day at night. Go beg and eat. Aval eved ivri tichsiv ki tov lo imach. It has to be good for the eved ivri like yourself. Imcha b'meichel, imcha b'meshel, lo kol sheken bito. So certainly his daughter would be in the same category. And just like the payment goes to the eved, ivri should go to her. We're talking about extra mizonos, beyond her needs. Mizonos have to take care of the father. But anything more than that is what we're talking about, whether it should go to the Av or go to the father, or go to this daughter. By Bito Ketana, we said the father gets it. And the other Brisa talked where there's a tour when he provides food for them. So we said in the Gedolim Yitelamiyah, if they're adults, you pay them off. Tanim Yaslam Skula. You make for them a skula. Amai Lavim Boy Lemesve. You have to give it to their father, to the father of the child. Amar Ki Kopid. When is a father doesn't want to receive something that belongs to his child? Immediately kochaser. Where he's going to have a financial loss. For example, if the son was injured, he has to pay for that. But immediately alma. But money that just comes from somewhere else, not somebody else, not that he wounded him, but other people wounded him. Loy kopit. So there he would not be makbid. When you find a lost object, comes from the outside world, the kakopid, father wants it. If the Katanim finds something, goes to the father. So Amri, when you just have a find, and it's pure profit, and there's no pain, kopid. So then he would want to receive it. Aval chavala, when his children are wounded, the islut start to fight where they have pain. It happened outside, loy kopid, he won't be makpid to accept it from his child. In the first parisa, the islut started gufa. The daughter did have pain. It came from outside, the kopid, and he wants to get the payment. It says in the Baraisa, other people wounded her, they have to pay the father. Amri Hasan the Gavra Kabdana. He's makbid on everything. When he's not providing them food, he perhaps doesn't want to accept something that comes from the outside. But in the regular Baraisa, where we're not dealing with somebody who's makbid, because his children are eating, something that he's going to have financial loss. He has to pay for the medical treatment of his son who was injured. He's not makbid so much when it happened on the outside. What is this skula, my skula? Rav Chizda Omar, Sefer Torah. You buy him a Sefer Torah. With the Sefer Torah, he can make a living. Go around, teach. Rav Huna Omar, Dikla Dachol Minei Tamri. He buys him a palm tree that he can eat fruits. Rish Lakish agrees that a father gets kesef kiddushin from anyone giving his daughter kiddushin when she's a ketana, but not when she's wounded. Rav Yochanan says the father pays to the father of the person who was injured. So the Gemara says, Psia. Sakadaitach? Is that true that the father will get the payments for damage? I feel Rabbi Eliezer look come a boy late. Eliezer didn't ask the question, Eligabi Chavola. That pachsa mikaspa, that reduced her value of the tzia. Tzia is a small wound. The law pascha mikaspa doesn't decrease her net value. Lokum a boy late. That wasn't what was asked. It knocked her nose in crooked. And it did decrease her value for a shidduch. So it was a damage for the father. Okay. So we're going to learn